New modernized F-15EX-3 shocked NATO countries and Russia. The development of tactical aviation in the U.S. Air Force is leading to remarkable results. Despite the existence of projects for two fifth-generation fighters, the Pentagon intends to purchase many modernized F-15s. These aircraft technically belong to the previous fourth generation, but will remain in service in the future. In the new version, the fighter gained incredible speed thanks to updated engines. The electronic equipment has also changed qualitatively. For example, the sixth-generation features such as a digital pilot helmet and the ability to control an army of drones have appeared. The hypersonic missiles with a range of more than 500 miles were chosen as a weapon which have no equal. Of course, such modernization required large financial outlays of several $billion. However, it was still cheaper than using newer fighters. The old aircraft have always been able to defeat the enemy in numbers, but in their current updated form, they're just as good in quality. Rumor has it that they'll even be able to become unmanned, and then the U.S. Army will be able to take very provocative actions without fear of losing the pilot's life. Modernization of existing aircraft instead of development of new ones is an unusual decision. But what was the logic of the generals who made this decision? Why does the United States need to buy old aircraft, and what exactly are their advantages over modern fighters? You're about to find out. And for now, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. It's thanks to you that YouTube algorithms offer our videos to new viewers, and we're growing. Here we go. The longevity of the F-15 aircraft is due to its great modernization capabilities. Over the years, several modifications of the fighter have been produced, making it one of the most versatile.
We were really building a fighter for the 21st century that could take on all of the advanced threats.
It's important to emphasize that this is not an old aircraft that's been fitted with something modern. This is a completely new aircraft built from scratch and equipped with the latest technical achievements. It's designed to perform both fighter missions and strike ground targets as bombers do. But what are its true advantages?
The 500 designs that were returned from the first request for proposal were all rejected because they simply did not break the mold.
The new fighter can reach an altitude of 59,000 feet. The fuselage has been substantially modified to increase its strength and reduce radar visibility. In addition to the unique design, the aircraft received new F-110 GE-129 engines by General Electric Aviation with a total thrust of 55,100 pounds. Such a high rate provides the aircraft with a speed of more than 1,860 miles per hour and excellent maneuvering capabilities. Just think, this is 1.5 times more than the newer F-35 can. That's not the end of its advantages. The digital electronic remote control system provides flight with increased angles of attack, making it a dominant force in air combat. The new fighter is equipped with a digital backbone-based electronic equipment system and an APG-82 radar. This set is capable of simultaneously detecting and tracking up to 10 air and surface targets at a range of 185 miles, which provides continuous surveillance of targets outside the enemy's range.
You can have good missiles, but if you can't target them with a good radar that maintains a lot, that provides accurate ranging information and engagement information, then they're not a lot of use.
The new Eagle will also be equipped with the latest active warning and survivability system and a new communication system for joint operations with the F-35. But the most interesting thing is that this aircraft will receive an upgrade that's only available for sixth-generation fighters. The ability to interact with unmanned drones is part of the Dark Star and NGAD systems, but few expected such a feature to appear on a fourth-generation aircraft. The new F-15 also includes a digital cockpit with large screens and a digital pilot helmet that displays all important flight information.
That the Air Force wanted a stealthy fighter. It was also clear that they wanted an airplane that would supercruise, in other words, run supersonically without lighting off the afterburners.
The aircraft is currently armed with AIM-120 missiles with a range of 40 miles and aerial bombs, which are perfect for destroying tank formations. The developers are also determined to use an entirely new missile on the aircraft, the range of which will exceed 310 miles. But more on that later. As of today, 6 such fighters have already been produced, and 2 more are at the final stage. It's planned to produce 64 F-15EX EGO-2 fighters by 2025. The Air Force expects to receive 200 of these aircraft at a total cost of $23 billion for the entire production program. So where's the rationale, and what's the point of this decision? There are F-35 Lightning IIs that are being successfully produced by Lockheed Martin, and their delivery is scheduled for years to come. What's the reason to spend resources on an airplane that's inferior to newer ones? In fact, there's logic in this decision. In the 90s, the Pentagon thought that the U.S. Air Force would switch to more modern F-22s at the beginning of the 21st century, but the Raptor turned out to be very expensive to produce and operate. Just 1 hour of its work, including all related expenses, cost $44,000. This means that one small mission lasting 5 hours and involving 10 such aircraft will cost more than $2 million, not to mention more complex missions. At the same time, an hour of operation of an old F-15 Eagle, which was just replaced by the Raptor, cost only $27,000.
A HUD is a heads-up display, and it helps us in so many ways because we don't need to look down for any information. Everything that we do and everything that we need to see is right there in front of us.
Moreover, the F-15 is reliable and doesn't require complex maintenance, while the F-22 has a lot of problems. While a single F-15 in the top configuration costs $34 million, the price for a Raptor reaches $146 million. This is the most expensive fighter jet in history. And for comparison, for the price of this aircraft, you can buy 2.5 tons of gold. The F-35 turned out to be cheaper, but it was designed to reduce the cost of production. About 30% of the budget allocated for the construction of these fighters was spent on the engine. The uniqueness of the new engine lies precisely in the ability to fly at supersonic speeds without switching to afterburner mode. In this way, the fighter can store more fuel, which means that its range increases. As for the maximum speed, the F-22 is capable of accelerating to 1,500 miles per hour, which is currently the best performance among fifth-generation fighters. Even the more modern F-35 reaches a speed of only 1,200 miles per hour. The maximum flight altitude is also important, which for the F-22 reaches 65,600 feet above sea level, and for the F-35, 62,300 feet. You might think that this is useless, but the most modern air defense systems are capable of attacking targets at an altitude of only 59,000 feet. The Raptor and the Lightning II, though not by much, overcome this indicator, so in 90% of cases, they can be out of the enemy's reach.
These are very good aircraft.
But we have to tell the truth, and the truth is that the new fighters are very problematic. For example, F-22 pilots constantly complain about insurmountable failures of onboard oxygen, malfunction of the oxygen generation system, as well as stuffiness and unpleasant odors in the cockpit. That's why the F-22 Raptor program was cut for financial reasons. However, the simpler and cheaper F-35 Lightning II was not very successful and is still not fully operational. For example, it cannot cruise at supersonic speeds without using an afterburner, which means that it's practically unable to save fuel.
The F-35 uses far too much gas. It's lucky if it can hang around for an hour or an hour and a half at most. The maneuverability is laughable.
Moreover, it's not capable of sustained supersonic flight, and Lightning was found to have the same problem as Raptor. The pilots reported symptoms that could indicate oxygen deprivation. So now we can recognize that the upgraded F-15EX-3, which surpasses the performance of other fighters, is really the best choice for its money. The F-15X will become a key member of the U.S. tactical system. The fighter fleet will be supplemented by the 5th generation, and a new hypersonic weapon has even been invented for it. This is an air-to-surface hypersonic glide boost missile with a planned warhead capable of accelerating up to 3,100 miles per hour with a range of over 500 miles. The experts believe that the weapon will be compact enough to be installed on the F-15. Pentagon officials who wish to remain anonymous were surprised to say that there's no need to spend an enormous amount of money to get a really great aircraft. The United States once again proves that it makes the best aircraft in the world for all occasions. What do you think's the future of the new F-15? Will it become a bestseller? For several decades, the United States has been the top aircraft manufacturer. By the way, it's well-deserved because American engineers have created such amazing aircraft as the super-fast SR-71, the critically dangerous B-21 Raider, and the invisible F-117 Nighthawk. But is there any modern fighter jet capable of repelling any of the above aircraft? Of course there is, and its name is F-22 Raptor. According to all the laws of aviation, a combat aircraft must be reliable, fast, powerful, and equipped with modern technological advances. The Raptor has all this.
We were really building a fighter for the 21st century that could take on all of the advanced threats that...
The U.S. Air Force has long wanted an invisible fighter capable of real feats. But at the same time, it was clear that a simple, powerful aircraft would not do. In today's combat realities, many aspects are important at once, primarily speed, maneuverability, and the ability to fight for a long time. Although the F-16 was quite fast, 1,300 miles per hour, it didn't have sufficient maneuverability to survive in protracted battles. Therefore, the military needed an aircraft that could fly at supersonic speeds without switching to boost, thereby saving more fuel. Raptor was created for this purpose.
That the Air Force wanted a stealthy fighter. It was also clear that they wanted an airplane that would supercruise, in other words, run supersonically without lighting off the afterburners.
It was quickly tested and adopted even earlier than all analogs created in other countries. What did it look like in the end? At least incredibly expensive. While one F-16 in the top configuration cost $34 million, the price for the Raptor reaches $146 million. This is the most expensive fighter jet in history. And for comparison, for the price of this aircraft, you can buy 2.5 tons of gold. So the F-22 turned out to be so expensive that a small house made entirely of gold bars could have been built instead. Is this price reasonable? Let's take a closer look and start with the engine. About 30% of the budget allocated for construction was spent on the engine. Its uniqueness consists precisely in the ability to fly at supersonic speeds without switching to boost mode. In this way, the fighter can store more fuel, which means that its range increases. For example, the aforementioned F-16 consumes up to 3,750 pounds of fuel per hour of subsonic flight, while the Raptor will only need 2,400 pounds, provided that both fly at a speed of 1,250 miles per hour. These figures allow the F-22 to fly at a distance of 1,600 miles per hour. Not bad, you must admit. In terms of top speed, the F-22 is capable of accelerating to 1,500 miles per hour, which is currently the fastest speed among American fighters. Even the more modern F-35 can only reach 1,200 miles per hour, but we'll compare these fighters in more detail later. The maximum flight altitude is also important. For the F-22, it reaches 65,600 feet above sea level. You may think, well, what's the use of this? And we'll answer that most modern air defense systems are capable of attacking targets at an altitude of 59,000 to 62,000 feet. The Raptor, although not by much, overcomes this indicator, so in 90% of cases, it's out of the enemy's reach.
These are very good aircraft.
The F-22 was developed in a hurry, and this led to some not very pleasant consequences. Most of the components for the aircraft were manufactured in the United States, but to save time, engineers still had to get support from the Allies and use foreign components. One of them was an oxygen supply system manufactured in the UK. It would seem to be nothing, but it was this system that became the fighter's vulnerability. This is confirmed by the 2009 accident when the pilot died due to a failure of the oxygen supply system. This incident led to a discussion of the problem of hypoxia among F-22 pilots. At high altitudes, atmospheric pressure decreases and oxygen concentration drops. The oxygen supply system provides the pilot with the necessary amount of oxygen for normal breathing and prevents hypoxia. It's a reliable oxygen system that helps pilots stay alert and make decisions in extreme conditions. And this incredibly important system was partially defective in the F-22 fighter. The solution to this problem was multi-stage and included many step-by-step actions. First, in 2011, the U.S. Air Force imposed temporary restrictions on F-22 flights to investigate and fix problems. In addition, the pilots were provided with additional training and instructions on how to deal with oxygen problems. Thus, the problem was resolved. But the oxygen supply system is still being monitored to avoid further incidents. Let's get back to the good stuff. Apart from its enormous speed, altitude, and range, the F-22's key capability is its maneuverability. The fighter can perform highly aggressive maneuvers, including low-speed rotations and horizontal flips, making it a very difficult target for the enemy. Even the pilots note that flying this aircraft against other aircraft, they feel an incredible superiority.
I know firsthand from flying the Raptor against other aircraft and flying other aircraft against the Raptor that it's like clubbing baby seal.
For comparison, imagine that you're shooting a bow at a target, but the target is constantly rotating, throwing itself from side to side and turning over. This is what you feel when you fight against the F-22, but it's even faster than all its competitors, and not even many self-guided supersonic missiles can catch up with it. Nevertheless, it's still possible to hit it, but this requires a good radar capable of detecting the F-22 in advance while it's still at a low altitude. And this is where another feature of the Raptor comes in. The F-22 is distinguished from other fighters by its ability to enter and exit silent mode, allowing it to optimize radar visibility and power consumption depending on the situation. It's also considered one of the world's most invincible fighters due to its combination of stealth technology, high maneuverability, and electronic countermeasures. Due to its shape and special coating, the F-22 has a unique degree of radar invisibility, making it one of the most difficult for enemies to detect.
You walk around the airplane, everywhere you look, what you see is something that's designed to do the job in the most efficient and effective way, and no wasted space, no wasted capability. It's truly an airplane.
Even if the aircraft is spotted and hit, it's not a given that this will be the end of the battle, as the design of the fighter pays great attention to survivability. It may come as a shock to you, but the Raptor can withstand high explosive munitions. To do this, it was necessary to create a unique glass for the cockpit. The glass is coated with a special material that's not only very strong, but also scatters radio waves, making the fighter even stronger and more invisible. Another special feature of the Raptor is its radar. The antenna, consisting of 2,000 elements, can detect targets at a distance of 140 miles and cruise missiles at a distance of 80 miles. The F-22 also has the ability to exchange data with other fighters and drones in the shortest possible time thanks to a satellite communication system, which the military also calls the Space Internet, which undoubtedly improves joint combat effectiveness. And as another benefit, the U.S. has restricted F-22 exports because of its advanced technology and secrecy. This made this fighter available only for the U.S. Air Force. And how do you fight an enemy you know nothing about? The answer suggests itself. From the very beginning, the Raptor was designed as a fighter jet that would gain air supremacy. Therefore, it's not well adapted for striking ground targets, but it's more than useful for air battles and can fight off any modern aircraft. It'd be extremely appropriate to compare the F-22 with another fifth-generation fighter, the F-35 Lightning II. These fighters are different in purpose and concept, and each has its own advantages and disadvantages. The F-22 is designed with an emphasis on ultra-maneuverability and air superiority. Its outstanding performance and radar invisibility make it a superior fighter in one-on-one combat in airspace. The F-35, unfortunately, cannot boast the same performance. The F-22 is capable of flying at supersonic speeds without the use of boost, which increases its range and survivability in air battles. While the Lightning reaches only 1,200 miles per hour, the Raptor reaches 1,500 miles per hour. Even a difference of 60 miles of speed can play a key role in protracted battle. And here, the difference is as much as 300 miles.
The F-35 uses far too much gas. It's lucky if it can hang around for an hour or an hour and a half at most. The maneuverability is laughable.
The F-22 also has a higher degree of radar invisibility and more effective stealth characteristics than the F-35. While the Raptor's higher flight range of 60,600 feet versus 49,200 feet for the Lightning does its job. However, it's important to note that the F-35 is designed to meet a variety of missions and is capable of performing the roles of a multi-role fighter, attack aircraft, and reconnaissance aircraft. The choice between the F-22 and F-35 depends on specific operational needs and tactical objectives, and they can be used in different scenarios, so both aircraft are worthy of being key in the U.S. Army. However, due to the enormous price of the F-22 Raptor, the U.S. government decided to discontinue it. So the 195 fighter jets that have been produced are all that we have and will have. However, understanding all the capabilities of this unique aircraft, there's no doubt that it'll get a second wind by transferring its advantages to some other fighter jet that may soon join the ranks of the U.S. Army. This video's come to an end. Thank you for watching this far. We'll be very grateful if you subscribe to the channel and write comments. Have a great day. See you soon.